And it's time now to talk to Jon-Christopher Bua, White House correspondent for Real Political News. JCB, hello to you.
How are you? I'm reminded of the song by the Bee Gees, "Staying Alive, Staying Alive." That's what I feel like we're doing here in America.
Just
we're
hanging on alive, there,
keeping our heads above water, and happy that our British friends still like most of us. And because we will never forget you, and we will never forget the Canadians. We were on the Normandy beaches with all of you.
Well, indeed. And I was going to ask you about Canada, but and also, what's this about the US joining the Commonwealth?
Oh, come on. That's nonsense. He'll say anything to distract. The last time we spoke, your Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, was here, and I had a good look at him at the White House. And, he stood up very well. He was very clever. He offered an invitation from His Majesty King Charles III to Trump. I don't know if that still stands. I can't say yes or no.
Well, but it appears to be so far, although when it actually happens or whether it does remains to be seen.
We'll have a chat on that. And, he had Macron come a couple of days before. And then on Friday of that week, I haven't spoken to you then. On Friday of that week, we were all anticipating Zelensky, and he went into the Oval Office and he started to speak to Trump, and J.D. Vance was rather rude to him, and Zelensky said, I need some help from America. You're a helper. Are you with Russia or are you with the people of Ukraine? And Zelensky was here, and they had a lovely lunch set up for him. And I saw the menu, and it was, soup to nuts, the whole deal. And they canceled it, and they left the lunch out on trays, and the communication staff ate it, and they sent him home packing it. A little bit of personal info there.
I mean, it was extraordinary, that whole session, wasn't it? I mean, why that even happened? I mean, we've debated it long and hard, but the impression I was left with was it was kind of deliberate. It was part of a play.
Well, I don't know what play Trump is doing, whether it's Lear or whatever tragedy. It's certainly Othello. Vance wanted to look relevant. His vice president, he wanted to look like, as we say in some cultures here, like a mensch, like a man, and he had to stand up there and insult. Zelensky's he's a hero. And then he was insulted for wearing his khakis. And I look at the pictures of Churchill when he was with FDR, and he was wearing his I guess you'd say his trench suit, or the suit that he wore during the Blitz, and he was a great leader. And it was insulting from the beginning to the end. But I will say one thing for Zelensky, he was absolutely upset, and I can understand that, and I can understand he getting his dander up a bit. But he was there to get some support from America, from the Brits, from the French, from the Finns, the Swedes, NATO, and Trump could care less about this stuff. He just wants to look like he's going to have a peace deal with Putin, and he's going to make it all work, and he's going to be the king, supreme.
So do you think he will do? Because there are a number of people calling me. We talk about this quite a lot, understandably, and some people are quite reasonably saying, well, at least he is having some talks, because there weren't even peace talks before. So do you think Trump is serious about achieving some kind of peace, and should he be given some credit for at least trying?
Well, I don't know what Trump's motivation is. Trump is very much in armor with the strong men, Orbán or Xi or Putin certainly, and Kim Jong-un, and he finds them powerful. He loves to latch on to their power, and I think he's playing the game, and he wants to look like a hero. But my gosh, when you look at what's been going on in Kiev and in the other parts of Ukraine, the slaughter that the Russians are putting down, it's just atrocious. It's horrible. And, we've got a guy as president who's not really globally aware of all the dynamics that are going on in the Middle East, in Gaza, with Netanyahu, and the situation in Ukraine is horrendous. And he may have some time down the road a bit of a stall and a bit of a ceasefire, but Americans do not agree with abandoning Ukraine.
Some of them do, clearly. I mean, there must be a divide, just like there is in American politics overall. Surely there is a sort of base support for Trump and his actions, and people don't want to fund foreign wars, do they?
I agree with you, Clive, and there will always be these MAGA, Make America Great Again people who will adore, they're his disciples, I've always said, and they deify Trump. And they will say, and he uses key words. We talked last time about what the object is, what are the goals. The goal of Trump, every time he gets up there and opens his mouth, it's to put fear into the American people. It's to hit that nerve as if he were getting a root canal, and he would go, the border, and those people are coming after you, and they're rapists, and they're going to get your daughters, and they're going to get your wives, and it's going to take our money away, and it's bloated, and the economy is bloated. And, I mean, if he puts any more tariffs on, we'll have no economy at all. I mean, it's really destroying this country. And then he'll put all that fear into them, and then he'll send out this little boy Musk, who's out there annihilating and decimating the federal agencies, and the people who are working are gone, and then the programs that they were heading up are gone. And he's going to eliminate the Department of Education, and he's going to look who he has in charge of the Health and Human Services and the USAID, which serves all people all over the world through what we do through USAID.
So are you still getting into the White House and able to follow all of this, or are you going to end up on Trump's banned list?
Now, be careful what you say. You never know who's listening.
Well, exactly.
No. I have my pass. I have the credentials, and I go to the White House, and I'm very respectful when I go to the White House, and I go to the briefings. I do my stand-ups that you've seen from there, and I report on it, and that's why people like you asked me for a little insight, and I will keep that. And I've been going there since I came to Washington in '93, and I was part of the Clinton White House and Democratic Party and issue, and I've always gone to the White House when I was with other news organizations, and I respect it. I respect who's the president, and I will listen, and I will be supportive of what's going on in our country, but you have to call it what it is. I mean, you eliminate federal agencies and the federal bureaucracy. Trump is eliminating the soft power and eliminating it from our foreign policy. I mean, he wants, ready for this one? The Israelis call this Iron Dome thing that they have. Mm-hmm. They and it's very good. I mean, somebody sends a drone over to Tel Aviv, and boom, boom, they'll send up 3 or 4 rockets. The Israelis are excellent with this. I've actually seen this, and they'll annihilate it. But here's this: Trump wants to do an Iron Dome, except he's calling it not uncharacteristically. He's calling it a gold dome. All right. I got that picture, right? We all know it's gold in Trump's home, everything. So he wants to put a gold dome up over the entire United States, which I think is 600,000. My wife's helping me out here. It's over 100 million square miles.
Wow.
And Israel, God bless, I've been there many times. It's the size of New Jersey.
Yeah. I mean, that's not going to work, is it? I mean, it reminds me a little bit of Ronald Reagan and his Star Wars project.
Well, that's what Ronald Reagan did Star Wars. That was his idea. And, Ronald Reagan, and I will give Ronald Reagan credit, and I've been teaching classes in politics and government, and the further away I get from Ronald Reagan, and the more I see of Donald Trump, I'm starting to miss old Ronnie. Brown suit and all. He was an interesting character. But he initiated the Star Wars concept, but he also He scared the bejesus, can I say that on LBC, out of the Soviets, and they really were afraid of him because he seemed a bit unpredictable. They never knew what Reagan was going to pull off. But after Trump, I mean, Dick Nixon is looking good and solid.
JCB, thank you very much for joining us.
A pleasure.